We are just over 7 weeks out until the WNBF California Muscle Mayhem. I'm definitely behind, that's for sure. So questionable whether or not I'm actually gonna go through with the show. I have until October 22nd to make that final call. That's the deadline to enter the show. If I feel like I'm gonna look respectable, then I'll go ahead and enter it. If I don't feel confident in that, I'm just gonna bypass it, at least at that show. And that would probably mean I'm not gonna be going to Worlds either. Part of me, might be a little disappointed with that because I really do want to try to compete with the other coaches here at 3D Muscle Journey. We've never done the exact same show at the same time, so it would feel like a missed opportunity if I don't make it, but I know they would completely understand. It's definitely been a very challenging year for me and my family. Losing my brother-in-law a couple months back definitely slowed things down in regards to my prep. And then even prior to that, just didn't have the same type of passion towards competitive bodybuilding. This is training year number 39. I'm going to be celebrating 40 years in December, competing since the early 90s. So the fire has kind of fizzled out a little bit, and it was just tough for me to, just try to find that gear I needed to really get after it. But with that said, I have had a nice little surge as of late. I've been grinding the last couple of weeks or so. When you guys hear some of these numbers, I know it's going to be like, why are you doing that? I mean, it's crazy, as far as like what the protocols are. But sometimes, you just have to dig deep and find that extra gear and, make things a little extreme temporarily in order to facilitate the type of progress that you're really wanting to make. It's interesting because the grind, challenging myself, making things feel hard, it's igniting this passion in me again, like this drive. What I've been doing is increasing my activity level. So what I do is I get up in the morning, have my cup of coffee, I go to the garage, I get on the treadmill, and I'm on that thing anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour most days. And then I'm going to double it up in the afternoons, late afternoons. If it's a training day, it's after my training session. So that way I'm not rob me of performance. So I do it after the training, and I get in another 45 to 60 minutes. And on occasion, I might go even up to 75 minutes. The activity's up there. The steps are up there. And the step count has probably been averaging anywhere between 13 to 16,000. So it's a decent amount. And the calories, like right now, I got my low day calories at around 1,600. I don't know right there, that's gonna probably raise a lot of eyebrows, maybe question that. I want you to think about context here. So outside of the treadmill, this is what I do most of the day. I'm sitting here at my desk, working on athlete check-ins. I'm doing emails, video calls with athletes. So I'm not really active. I'm not burning a lot of calories in between those treadmill sessions. And historically speaking, probably the last 10, 15 years of, contest prepping, that's been the case for me. Just lower calories, lots of activity in order to generate the progress that I'm after. Back in my younger days, when I was in my 20s, and in my 30s, when I had a more physical job working at an auto plant, I was on my feet a lot, constantly moving. And I didn't track steps back then, but no doubt it was, north of 10,000 steps a day. I would say it's probably, teetering closer to 20,000 steps per day. So I was able to eat more food, which makes sense because obviously I was burning a lot more calories back then. Relatively speaking, what I experience now in the last 10 to 15 years with these preps in relation to past preps in my 20s and 30s, like as far as hunger levels, energy levels, fatigue, that type of thing, it feels pretty much the same. So I think sometimes when we look at people's protocols, mine, for example, like really low calories, decent amount of activity, it's like, oh man, he's killing himself. But if you look at someone like Alberto, flip side, He eats a lot more calories than I do, probably experiencing the same things that I'm experiencing deep into a prep. And that is going to be fatigue. There's going to be some hunger there. Now, how we respond to what we're feeling, I'm really trying to have good perspective around it. In a sense, not getting too caught up in my own feels, but rather looking outside of myself. And I think what helps me a lot too is that I'm a coach and I prep a lot of athletes. So I've seen a lot of people's journeys. There's been a lot of differences between athletes as far as environments that I have to prep in. I look at my own environment. Okay, I work from a desk. I work with bodybuilders. So my job, it's demanding at times. It requires bandwidth. It requires my time. It requires, good attention, a lot of, care and empathy towards my athletes. So it's not like it's easy, but it's easy in relation to maybe what I used to do working at the auto plant, where it's a lot more physical, or in comparison to someone else's job. Hard labor, like doing construction, just the living environment. I've had athletes in other countries that prep. Their countries are under turmoil. There's wars going on. They're prepping in that type of an environment, getting after it, taking in low calories, doing high step counts, sometimes, higher step counts than what I do, but yet they're not really complaining too much. They're sucking it up. They're putting the work in. It's an extreme environment, but in order for them to really chase down their goals, their dreams, it's not going to fall into their lap. It's not going to come easy. They're going to have to put the work in, the time, the effort. They're going to have to level themselves up. So that's what I've been trying to do, with this last grind that I've been on, is getting outside of myself, getting outside of my own feelings, looking at other people's perspective and their environments and what they have to go through to attain what they really want to attain. This is just not with competitive bodybuilding. Even if you're a serious recreational lifter or just someone who really wants to make improvements, you have to put the work in. And sometimes that work means is not going to be easy. It's going to be hard, and it might even be extreme at times in order for you to level yourself up. So that's what I'm really trying to do right now, is just find that extra gear, find the fuel that's going to take me through this dig that I'm on. Hopefully it can get me to the stage by November 8th for the Muscle Mayhem, and for Worlds on November 23rd. If I fall short on, the progress, it's okay, because there's going to be more shows down the road. Early December, there's a show in the Bay Area. It's an NPC show. It's a non-tested show, but I'm okay with it because it's an opportunity. It's a stage for me to express my art. And most importantly, my family would be able to see me do my thing. Even if let's say I don't do any shows at all this year. What I'm doing now is an investment towards next year. If you've seen some podcasts early in the year, I was on the Steve Hall Revive Stronger podcast. I talked about potentially this being my last prep. Again, it's because I was losing that fire and that passion. Getting my hands dirty again, grinding. This is exactly what I needed. So I needed a little extremism to light the fire in me. And right now, I can see myself competing next year. And I have this goal in my head right now, and this might just be the deficit talking right now. At this stage of my career, I've competed for a very long time. I've been training, close to 40 years now. There's no more off seasons left for me. I've already developed a really good physique, a good foundation. So next year, I'm thinking about competing multiple times next year. And the reason I want to do this is to challenge myself. I need something challenging. I need something that goes against the typical stuff that we do, that us bodybuilders do, as far as 2 to 3 year off season, make improvements, do a contest prep, diet for about 6 months, get shredded, get on stage, try to, get a certain placing, go to Worlds or what have you. I've done that now repetitively. and it's getting boring. So I need something challenging. I want to stay within the realm of bodybuilding though. It's reminiscent of my 2011 prep when I would do like 10 sets of 10 on a bench press. I did that once just for fun. I did a 50-mile recumbent bike ride. I wanted to see how long it would take me to complete that. I completed, I think it was like 2 hours and 50 minutes or whatever it was. There's no reason to do that in a typical prep, but I needed that challenge. I needed something extreme to make it fun. And next year, if I compete multiple times, if I'm competing, let's say in the first quarter, the second quarter of the year, the third quarter of the year, the fourth quarter of the year, it's like my version of an Ironman. So I don't know if I'll follow through with that, but right now, just that thought of potentially doing that, it's basically reinforcing why I'm pushing hard right now, because it's setting myself up for that. And even if I don't do that next year, because I am living this prep lifestyle, I'm pushing myself. I'm eating really healthy. I'm eating plenty of protein. I'm eating plenty of fiber, plenty of fruits and vegetables. I'm very active. So from a health perspective, I'm actually feeling really, really good. Might be a different story when I lose 5 more pounds, when I'm a little bit on the leaner side. So yeah, I guess this is a way of just saying right now, I'm freaking loving the grind. And I know some people, question contest prep. Like, why would you want to put yourself through that? Why would you want to get down to 5-6% body fat, feel really hungry at times, have low energy at times, sometimes, have your sleep disrupted, you're moody, you're cranky, you're not the best version of yourself for others around you during certain parts of a prep, but you learn so much about yourself. It's hard to describe, but when you go through it, you learn what you're capable of, and that can translate into other areas of your life. So if you've never done a contest prep before and you have enough muscle to do it, and you feel like you have this itch to potentially do it, you're just not sure of yourself, maybe you're not, feeling, confident in your abilities, there's only one way to find out. I'm gonna say, if you guys even have a small itch of doing it, just know myself and the other coaches here at 3D Muscle Journey, we're really, really good at what we do. We know how to take athletes from A to B, and in a way where we're bringing the best out of you, not just in your physiques, but also what's inside. So I'm pumped, guys. Actually, I'm pumped. Whether I get on stage or not, I'm just really pumped. I'm excited for what I'm doing right now. I'm gonna leave it here. I have some treadmill work I need to do. I'm excited about it. I'm gonna go get it done. And I'll talk to you guys with the next one.